you, buddy?
Right. Yeah, good. Nice to hear you, right?
Yeah, good, buddy, good.
How's your golf been?
It's been all right. It's one of those, isn't it? Up and down.
Yeah. Been managed to play a bit, or?
To be fair, I was playing loads, and then we were away playing in Spain last week, and then I've been unwell all week, to be fair.
Okay.
So I just haven't been out and about, but by that, normally I'm,
Yeah.
Let's be honest, I reckon I play more golf than I play hockey, so. We live literally at the bottom of the road of Fox Hills now. So, like, come home from training, I was like, get in the buggy, go and play 18 at 6 p.m, 6 till 8, done. Go home, have dinner, and so you're just cashing in on it, really.
Do you want lights on or lights off?
I mean, lights are fine off.
Yeah. Once you've hit that one, Sam, can I just have a quick look at your driver?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. How long you had this?
I would say since Feb.
Okay.
I'm going to throw my mate under the bus, only because he'll really appreciate this, because he's going to watch it. And then we decided what we were going to buy in a room in India when we were at the World Cup. We literally were like, we're going to order this, and he was like, no, it's actually James Olbury. He said, this is going to work nicely for you. This is going to get rid of the slice. That's what we went with. And to be fair, has it worked? It actually really has. But now I'm getting greedy and I want more distance, and I want it to be right. And he's now going to be really grumpy with me, so it's going to be good.
Cool. There you go. What ball are you playing with?
Pro V1.
Pro V1.
I think I've just pulled the right one out.
Yeah,
I have now, yeah.
More Sam got to go chasing. Right, I'll let you get moving and then we'll. So, distance-wise on the course, what have you been getting?
So I think carry about 250 is what
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I could be very wrong, but I feel it doesn't help because everyone I play with hits the ball way further than me, and I feel that's not very far.
Right.
But yeah, they joke I'm a bit of a nerdler.
And tee height wise, is that sort of right?
Yeah,
for you?
that seems pretty spot on, I think.
Yeah. That sort of draw effect, is that normally what you see a little bit? Or?
Basically, that is what's happened since I got there. I basically had the world's biggest slice.
Yeah.
I would aim like 2 fairways left and just let it come in.
Okay.
And I kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And then that's when we decided we'd change it up. Obviously got this draw base.
Yeah.
Draw bias, and just it helps me a lot, and I feel way more confident over it. But
Okay.
I don't know if that's just changed everything, because I'm just really confident over it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's
but
part of it, if it just helps.
We'll see. I just trust that it's going to go pretty straight, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
They're consistently in the same direction.
Yeah. Is it a case of you're happy with the head, you just want to see if there's a shaft that can give you a bit more, or are you looking for...
Honestly, I basically get on really well with this driver,
Yeah.
but I want more distance. It's basically, so I'm open to everything, basically.
Okay.
Basically, I've hit a few others, and I hit the ball a lot further with them.
Right.
So this is like, I basically have like a perfect fairway finder kind of safe driver.
Yeah.
And then people are a bit like, why are you coming? Because I want more distance.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, that's basically how I...
Yeah, I mean, not too bad. slight little bit down on the attack, but that's why your spin's just squeezed up ever so slightly. So yeah, from a flight point of view, you could say, okay, it's just topping out a little bit high. It's costing you a bit of yardage, but it's not terrible. It's one of those fairway finders. I think it'll be a case of if we keep your spin down based on that technique, but making sure that your launch doesn't just fall out the sky, we can definitely give you a bit more. How much more? Without then that, it'll be that case of just giving you, making sure you're confident with what you're doing. But yeah, as a whole, you're not too bad there from what you're doing. It's pretty solid. So yeah, thanks for the challenge.
Basically, that's the challenge.
Yeah.
So if it is just a change of shaft, then great. If it's not, then but I'd like to try all, and then kind of I also have slight visual kind of things, but we'll go through that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. No, I think let's try some different head shaft combos first, and then whatever shaft we settle on, we can try that in that head, and we can try it in the other ones, and just see how they play and go along from there. But yeah, based on where that is, I'm going to start with a slightly different head and see how you get on.
Lovely.
All right. Cool. So you were saying about your sight. What was the?
Yeah. So basically, no central vision in my left eye.
Okay.
So basically, potentially we'll struggle with this because of the polished top.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I actually took to that, because it is, but it's like that strip between it. So it's like the paradigms and stuff I found fine because of that.
That strip.
A couple of lads have these, and maybe it's I just look down and feel a bit, but it might just be a confidence that it's theirs, and I'm scared I'm going to give it some sky and do something.
Okay. Well, if the first few we struggle with it, we can always dive to another head. That's not a problem.
Lovely.
But yeah, what I'm looking at here is if we're going to go down a little bit in loft, see if we can just bring that initial launch fractionally down. But we'll see how your forgiveness factor goes. Now, the weighting on this is slightly set hill biased. Essentially, with the TSR3, we've got the rotational point. We can put it into its most draw bias setting. Obviously, without adapting, you've then got 16 adaptations you could have on the hosel. So we're going to keep that standard and just see with that little bit of weighting, like yours, where it's built in there, to see how much effect that has. Same length, so around that 45 inches, so not going crazy. It'll be interesting to get your thoughts on this, because yours swings quite lightly as a golf club.
Yep.
So in terms of weighting, it's really, probably this is going to be about 5 swing weights different at the moment. So it'll, based on how you sort of pull the club and what you do, it'd be really interesting to see the change and how that feels.
It just looks so different. Okay.
That's not a bad start.
No. I'll take it.
So yeah, immediately spin just down a little bit more. Attack angle actually maintained the same sort of angle. The launch, as expected, a little bit low loft, has just brought that down as well. Yeah, nice. 261 carry on that, 286.
It looks so alien to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I almost feel I lack contrast, but then obviously it says differently, so it's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's right. You still got to have confidence over it, even if the data says, "Oh, that's brilliant." You've got to stand there and think, "I can hit this." Yeah, just that little bit higher up in strike, so it's just not quite come out. But again, if that's your worst one, I'll take it.
Yeah. Don't normally hit it straight.
Yeah, I sort of tried to keep the weighting profile pretty similar because of obviously how much you've been enjoying that one, so I've not gone crazy yet. And from a stability point of view, just something that's got a nice sort of good solid bottom end, but again, not just so rigid you feel like, oh, I'm having to force it.
Yep.
But it was stable enough that for your little change of direction where you like really snap into it, it will just stay where it needs to. It won't just wobble around and then feel like, oh, it's going left, right, and all over the place. Good. Have one more with that. That's a nice start. Yeah. So. Do you want me to change the club head before we move on the shaft if that's picking up your eye? Do you think that would
Yeah,
suit?
if that's okay. I reckon so, yes, please.
Perfect. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, that just, it basically looks like so eye line for me, that looks like it basically rolls straight into the face and there's no like.
Sort of bridge between it. Yeah, cool. That's fine.
It just.
No problem. Yeah, that might come back to that later, see as we tap in, but yeah, definitely. The spin's always going to be a little bit up on that heel strike, but the fact of 3,000 off such a low heel is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, you've slightly closed it over, so that does help a little bit, but yeah, if you're 270 and still just about clean onto the fairway, then I'm not going to complain.
No.
I know you'll be able to see this one clearly. So.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see how you handle this. Again, I'm going to sort of start at that 9-degree loft and just, if it's too much, we've got room to move it around. And yeah, just going to take the shaft up a little bit in its spec of, going to feel a little bit stronger in profile. So the Ventus Blue, well, you may have seen a lot of guys playing it, really good strong shaft. Should be able to handle that slight change of direction. Overall, this head being a little bit lighter, it'll feel a bit closer to yours. There'll still be a bit more weight there.
Yep.
But yeah, probably just not that sort of
straight away though, like just over it, the eyesight on it does feel.
Just feels.
I feel happier again.
Yeah, good.
This is where it didn't show that.
Yeah, a hair's breadth heel side, but we'll take that all day long. But that almost helped with the counteraction of the face just slightly closed over, so balanced each other out. And again, a pretty nice result, all things considered. But your sort of par face, things like that, they're quite neutral, so you're swinging really well. This will be the one. See, now that actually is quite a good sign, because what I possibly expect to happen where you got into there was that over that way.
I felt straight away, I was like, that doesn't seem okay, but.
Yeah, you just got a little bit presented up there, left it. It's where yours would have felt like being that little bit lighter, that little bit of weight bias, it would just click it over a bit more. There you go, you wanted more distance, 282, 311, will that do it?
Yeah, that is a bit different, isn't it?
But you can see...
I've bought the ball speed up a bit there or not.
Yeah, so your club speed
I've got
after it.
Yeah, a bit more, but
that again can come from the factor of you've got a touch more weight there overall as a product. The shaft is a little bit heavier in terms of how it plays the style. It's a little bit stronger at the bottom end, so it's going to encourage you to hit through it a little bit more.
Yeah.
The nice thing is, even though going into that sort of lower loft, because you're keeping the launch up, even though you're slightly over here, combine that with that sort of 19, just under 2,000 spin, and yeah, you've got a rocket that will get you out there.
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that looked more of what I'd probably say you're like controlled.
Yeah.
Try and fit it in, and yeah, that's where with yours you've been getting that little bit, almost that shape, just from that little bit of weight in, a little bit lighter, letting the club come through. But again, when you say my quest for distance and what you want to get from it, it's still 296. So that lower spin model, interestingly, your attack angles improved slightly as well, so you've got a bit more neutral. So whether, again, that's you being a bit more aggressive because you can put a bit more into it.
It's really safe indoors, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, works great.
That's how I feel right now. It's like,
Yeah.
nothing, I mean,
Yeah.
I've said that now. Who knows what's coming out? That's quite straight.
Right, you can go home. It's done. But I suppose that's the change of what you'll get from the two heads a little bit of.
Yep.
You've got a slightly softer profile, a little bit of waiting to try and get the head turning over a little bit this way. But this one now, it's just going to be more holding there, will try and drop off for where your dynamics are. I mean, they're really, really good dynamics. I mean, club path only 1 degree from absolute dead centre in your face angle. Like, it doesn't really get better than that in golf. And from the flight, launch, really good spin, that thing's just carrying. Your smash is slightly up from yours, so another 0.01 on there. So we're knocking on the door of that magic number of 1.5.
Yep.
But yeah, you're definitely moving it faster, but I think that's with confidence of what you've got in
I mean,
your
this
hand.
definitely looks over it again. We keep searching, you know?
Yeah. Didn't sound quite as nice,
No.
but again, yeah, when you take those, sort of your pre-one, 245, you're swinging a little bit slower, but it'll be interesting going back to yours in a little bit of how fast you swing it then. But yeah, 4 miles an hour you're putting on it, which can come from a little bit of warming up, but I think it's also a little bit of trust. And then, I mean, well, we'll take 20 yards plus on a driver. They won't be taking the mick anymore.
They will, don't they?
This will be the one. Yeah. So that's just where, again, you slightly followed your path across to the club head. And it will lower it down. I mean, the nice sign that I see there is, although it's brought the launch down to just under 11 and you spin a little bit, it's still, from a flight point of view, for something that you've squeezed out, it's only just dropping below optimal. So for something that you've closed in and got on top of, for that to still be carrying out at 275, you can see you're not that far off of where your carry should be. I mean, you smash through your optimal distance because of that trapping it down. But the nice thing is it's just run off the left-hand side for something that you'd say is probably not your most solid swing. So from a forgiveness point of view, we haven't given up anything, which is really quite nice and hopefully confidence boosting.
See, that's horrid, and I'm intrigued to see what that happened. I actually thought that was not the fact.
Yeah, so that's where the low hill, obviously you're going to get masses of spin, but it's tried its hardest. And what's really interesting, that's the average yardage that you were getting with your driver. So off that terrible hit with that swing and what felt really sort of horrible off the face, you still popped out there at 265. So if that's telling you that your bad one is going 265, it's like, well, that's only going in one direction then. Good. Last one for me. How does the sort of shaft head combo feel?
I think I like it.
Yeah?
I think so. I find it harder with like visually less loft. It makes me feel very strange, but it's working.
Yeah, because even that you can see you got a little bit out in front and just left open. That's still catching the right edge, or worse, at worst, just dropping into the semi-rough. And it's still, bearing in mind you're fading it, you're adding spin, you're doing all that, you're 276. So, yeah, it's still good numbers considering it's over there. And that, to me, is where you get a little bit loose in your swing, because it just separates slightly on the way down.
Lucky, really.
Yeah, but cool. Right, so before we go any further, what I'm going to do, now that you've in the motion.
Oh, okay, interesting, yeah.
Now go back to...
This is where then I break all the plans of what's been going on. I've just got loose.
Yeah, but this is it's a lovely test to do, because now you're in the full flow, now you've experienced how that feels. let's see if you can put
This
the same
now
committed.
feels really light
Yeah.
to me. Feels very different.
Nice.
Wasn't the cleanest of areas of.
But the good thing is you went back up to that club head speed that you've been doing there, sort of 107. So, yeah, interestingly, straight off the bat, toe strike should knock it down a little bit, but we're nearly into the 3000s on the spin immediately. That didn't sound too bad. Tiny bit low. But yeah, incredible.
So weird, because I felt I absolutely nutted that, and that's took as much effort as it has, ball speed. But just look,
Yeah, I mean, the magic number there really is that one.
Yeah.
It's what they're designed to do, essentially. It's where you've got that confidence, what's helped you almost a little bit more spin, keep the fly up there. It's felt comfortable, but it's cost you, well, as we've seen today, 20 yards.
Yep. Interesting. And the worst bit is the harder trying it.
Well, that's the thing, because
That's how I've got. But
yeah,
there you go.
much better strike, but you can see they're off a really good, strong hit. You're 2.9 on the spin, 14 launch, so it's on the top side. You're doing really well. Get a 147 smash. I mean, that's great from what you're doing there. You're pretty much taking everything you can out of that club and using it really efficiently. But yeah, when I look at that, I don't see that much other than the odd bad swing where it's just steered off. But for what you're gaining there in terms of that and your spin, I mean, 700 less, you could say, okay, argue it's a tiny bit higher, so let's factor that down there, 200 more. That's still about 500 less RPMs of spin. That's really making a difference. And then I think if you can get a little bit of that just into that transition where you're letting it go, just starting it straighter, you can really bring that spin down into the low twos. The launch is good, and then you can tap into 300 plus.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Let's keep going with that. We'll stick with that head, and we'll try another couple of shafts, but that's pretty darn close, that Ventus.
So you think that head is?
It's a good one in terms of, I think, one, because you obviously got used to it on the eye. So I think that's the first bit for that helps you. It's also the case of it's a low spin enough that it keeps it down, but there's still a little bit there just to try and pop the ball up. It'll be interesting once we get to the right shaft or where we are comfortable with it, trying you in like the paradigm, triple diamond, things like this, and just see.
Because I've been striking quite a few paradigms as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that reacts as well, because they're quite a close comparison, like to each other, of how they'll play. So, not too much change the weight, a little bit more, but this basically just pushes some of that weight down into the tip end. So, again, it just loads it, tightens up that bottom half. It will just be interesting to see what happens with the hands, if anything becomes a little bit more.
Yeah, a bit handsy.
Yeah.
Hard in the face.
Yeah. Got away with it.
Yeah. Weirdly straight again.
Yeah. But what I want to see where that transition, because it's got a little bit more, does it just load in that little bit better, give you even maybe more control than what you're getting with the blue? Yeah, just come out a little bit low there, which again, based on what you'd have with the Ventus, it should, from the red to the blue to the black, it should slightly drop it down anyway. But yeah, I'll take you missing it a little bit low at 280. We can live with that. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm a little bit worried about, of where it does now.
Finally, yes.
Yeah. Now it starts to get down there of, do you start to fetch for it because it's just a little bit too much weight at the bottom end or that profile?
It's interesting. This does. I don't feel as comfortable over this.
No, you don't. You look like, if you got it right, it would look really good, but you don't look like you're swinging with as much freedom. Have one more. Yeah, it almost looks like you're just trying to put it there. And that's interesting in your club head speed of, considering it's only a slight weight change,
Yeah.
that's dropped down a good couple of mile an hour from what you were doing with the blue. So, yeah, it's just interesting to see if that dropped in that structure got you there, but no, it's just a bit too much. Cool. Nice little green ones to stand out with on the.
It's quite jazzy, that.
Yeah.
I like them jazzy. It's okay.
So yeah, this is a new shaft out this year. So they had the original Speeder NX Blue, and then what they've done is just developed it, tightened it up at the bottom end a little bit. Obviously, they made it green to give it a little bit of a different look. So this is closer in profile to the Ventus Blue, not as harsh in the sort of, well, yeah, Ventus Black is almost as harsh as it gets, really. You have to go looking to find something beyond that, or go into the TR versions.
It's quite different, actually.
Yeah. Little bit toe side, so it just helped create that shape. If you'd nailed it out the middle, it would have just been more of that straight there. But again, nice opener.
That is low.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just where you get a little bit on top of it. But the heel strike saved you. But again, it's just whether, so the club speed's gone back up, so immediately that's good, that's working back in our favour. It's just whether it structurally feels solid enough, like the Ventus Blue, that you feel like actually if you really hit through it, it's just going to stay there. Yeah. Don't mind it, but that to me looked a little bit like your driver of just putting it into play rather than hitting through it. Have one more go. Yeah, that looked like you went for a little bit more, caught out Toby. You can just see how it's not quite, slightly missed a spin there in italics, so that should have been a little bit lower than what it was, but yeah, it's just not quite keeping that same profile down. I mean, you'll take the results, but
Never hit the ball so straight.
yeah,
What's going on?
it's the indoor effect, like you say.
It's easy indoors, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, one last little test here just to see how this plays. Otherwise, I'm quite happy of using that, and then we'll go forward with it. But again, new shaft out here, Sinister. As you can see, some pretty funky
jazzy,
graphics. Yeah. It's a different profile. Why I just want to try it, because a lot of the weighting gets put up towards the grip end, so it will follow you around there. But then again, it's really stabilised. There's enough head weight to be like, okay, I know where it is and how you swing it. Perfect. Give that a go.
Thank you. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's pretty popular. But that's where it'll be. It's just that sort of little experiment because it's worked well. But whether you get, because of your transition, just wanted to see if it really got swung through and there, it could hit onto it. But that first one, you can see it actually almost went with you and got under. Have one more go and we'll just see what that's like. Yeah, you can see you just can't get it to track.
No.
Fine. Yeah, it's worth a little
As
test.
great as it looks.
Yeah, it's worth a little test, just that experiment. But I think that gives you all the solid feeling you need.
Yep.
And it's just a case of putting the exact right head on it. I think this one's pretty darn good. We'll just see if anything can beat it.
No chance.
Well, instead of hitting 6 iron, you'll be hitting 8 iron the next game.
That would help.
So you say you've tried the paradigm before?
Yeah, I've been hitting quite a few paradigms recently.
Okay. Something you've enjoyed quite a bit? Or?
Yeah. A lot. I didn't want to say that early on.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was battling it.
Okay.
I think visually, obviously, it's very good again for me.
Yeah.
So these two are particularly good for...
Yeah, what you see, yeah.
I think the other one that obviously looks quite good to me is the ping one, just because it's obviously the matte finish.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's.
Yeah, again, yeah, the LS could be quite good in that sense, yeah. So I'm going to put essentially the heavier weight slightly at the back, so it puts it in a more forgiving position, as they'd say, and see how you get on, see what the spin rate is and everything. We can always chop them round if we need to.
Yep.
Right, there you go.
Thank you. Looks lovely.
Yeah.
Straight. It looks like it's giving me a load of loft. That's what.
Okay, interesting.
Straight. Weirdly enough, it's straight away.
Yeah.
It looks like it's giving me a nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue a hair's breadth low, which is why the spin's a tiny bit up. It'll be interesting to see as this goes on, if we still get that consistency, which is obviously a good start for the shaft. It's saying, okay, that's working well. Whether you want to take that, get a distance gain, but also a little bit of forgiveness with the weight back, or whether you just want to go full tilt for full distance and just take a little bit of the consistency off.
Just gamble, you know.
Yeah. It's what I almost say though, it's a lovely gamble because essentially you can move the weights around. But yeah, that to me, I'm going to swap those weights and just see what happens. But you can see they're a little bit low on the strike, so again, it's always going to create the spin up a bit and a bit heely. The fact we're still just bottom end of 3,000 is great for that sort of strike, and we're hitting 283, so that's really good. But this will be the test of how you manage that weight going forward. But again, I'm convinced 9 degrees is a better way to go for you from a head point of view of where your launch is. I think for someone who looks comfortable hitting at it, I think it's better for you to have that. Yeah, occasionally you might chat one down, but you've still got enough speed to keep the flight up. So if it was the case of you a few miles an hour down, I'd be like, well, is that going to hang in the air long enough, or start getting a bit low and to the left? There you go.
Thank you.
So yeah, slightly gets the spin there, but you can see the immediate drop in what it does. Yeah, that's a little bit too low. That's the only thing. Yeah, that's the one that would scare me a little bit because the initial launch is okay, but 1600 spin would just be a. So yeah, leaked it a little bit, and then that's almost the perfect spin rate, 2000, and then getting distance. Let me just tweak the loft. So what we could look at here is just because the Callaway sleeve, where you don't have to change the angle too much, putting it up to 10 just to give it that
The
safe.
one I was using a standard paradigm.
Yeah.
Set to full draw, but then I had it to 10. The 9 crank to 10.
Yeah, I'd almost say at your speed, it's, the normal paradigm almost acts like yours again. It will give you a little bit more forgiveness, so it's just how much you want to take into that. I think for where you're loading it, if you're wanting that distance gain, I think going into the...
I came in going, I want distance, I'm going to leave saying I want something different.
Yeah, it's always but that's the thing you see, that change in sort of what you're looking for, because you're standing there going, I want pure distance, but then if you're seeing the thing going a little bit off, you're like, do I want pure distance or do I just want a small distance game but still keep all my consistency I've started to really enjoy? Just got a little bit under it.
Yeah.
Again, not for saying you got a little bit under and pulled over. Now on our sleeve, it does slightly tweak the face.
Yeah.
So
it felt there slightly. I just thought that was a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it just manipulated it a little bit, but that's fine. Yeah, quite a high strike, so that's where I'd expect that sort of 1500 spin because you're quite on the top of the club. But equally, you then got a bigger launch out of it, so it's sort of, it's one of those of if the launch is up, at least it does some of the work, keeps the ball in the air a little bit longer for you. Yeah, see, again, tiny bit high, but that's a much better spin profile for what you're doing. And then your carry staying up. Yeah, there's more to gain from that purely based on hit, but you're still getting good total out of it off the off-center one. But I'm then not thinking that's just going to go like this and drop out the air really quickly. So have a couple more with that. What's your feelings on that versus the sort of paradigms you've tested, like this more standard one? Any?
Yeah, not. I want to try a standard one. Something just.
Yeah, just a little bit lower. Okay. Yeah, that's like I say, the safety of the LS of the Aerojet. It's still a low spin head, but I just feel like this has been fantastic. It's been a monster in terms of distance and keeping that spin down, but it's just whether it pushes us too far.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me grab the standard head and we'll see how you do from there.
After all this, then you'll end up being another Cobra. You'll be like, what?
If it works, it works.
Yeah, it's factually very true.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be good to see what the spin rate from this. Obviously 9 degrees, so hopefully that will still keep it a little bit more under control, but we should definitely see a bit of a change from the triple diamond. It's just, we might give up a little bit, but hopefully still keep most of the performance. Okay, yeah. Just closed it over a little bit, but that's still at 9. That's a little bit safer in the spin category, sort of 1800. Launch got a little bit low, but that was like the earlier one that you slightly trapped down. I don't mind that. It's still got enough flight. Yeah. And that's the little bit of the consistency factor of you get away with it, but then at the same time, you only have to be a little bit off the hill when you're into the nearly 3-2 spin. Whereas that's where the low spin head can help you.
That's not offering me right now.
Yeah, that's
enough
not
of
giving
a
you
change from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If your quest is you want a bit more out of it, that's not really going to cut it. And that to me of what you're trying to do, because that's again the speed's there 108, and you can see a little bit better in the strike. So the spin, you could say okay, left it open, maybe would have been around 2.6, 2.5 if you squared it off, which isn't terrible. But now we're pulling back towards where the good ones are with that, personally.
Wow.
So yeah, I think if you're going for distance, we need to give you something that is more of that take a little bit of the forgiveness out, not loads, but take a little bit out, but gain you a lot, as we've seen today. So was hockey something you just, as a kid, and
basically loads of hockey. Always basically wanted to play hockey, then didn't really get picked for anything, and then was working in a car dealership till 23.
Right.
And then got picked for England, playing club hockey, and then basically been playing ever since.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty nice. Can't complain.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get to do what you love, really, then.
Yeah, it's the best thing.
By that I mean it allows me to play golf a lot. I get to do what I love. Yeah, I used to play golf a lot.
Why did you start playing golf?
Literally 4.5 years ago, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, not that long ago.
No. Just cool.
I always fought it and was like, no, I'm not playing that game. It's boring.
Yeah.
That's all I ever said. And then now, I get nothing but jip for being the one that's addicted and out every day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those, I think, until you try it and then you just get that bug of you hit one good shot that just flies and you're like, oh, okay, I want to do that again.
Something about this just looks lovely and I don't know why.
It
really annoys me that it does.
I think, again, from what you said about like what you see in that, it's just almost those shapes and stuff
those
on top
shapes
as well.
all point in the middle of the club, which makes me feel a bit,
Yeah, that's a good start. Of all the heads, I mean, the LST, like it takes again a little bit of forgiveness because it's trying to move the CG slightly forward. But of all the heads, this is the most forgiving out of the ones we've tested. I'd almost argue it's nearly as forgiving as the Paradigm is, and it's a low spin model. That's the thing.
It looks like
Yeah. Well, the fact you're a little bit below, but you're still around that 2-4 spin is just, well, eking out performance. Like,
I mean, they seem like carry distance quite a bit up as well on the last few.
Yeah.
In relation to the Paradigm, country mile.
Yeah, I mean, the Paradigm's just a no-go because I just think it's going to drop too much. I think the Cobra was pretty good. But I have to say, you're making this look quite nice. Yeah, we'll have one of those.
Yeah. It's quite hard to argue with that.
Yeah. It's about your first one, yeah, slightly missed it, then you've gone 269, carry 271, everything's 290 plus. I think what I'm really enjoying about this is no matter where you've been a little bit off on the phase,
it's just, yeah. I mean, with something about it as well, just standing over it feels like I want to absolutely smash it.
Yeah.
really upsets me, this does. It was definitely not what I thought I'd do.
That just looked like you got a little bit more under it. Yeah, and it's just crept it up. I mean, still, you're not going to argue at 278 just down the right, and yeah, you left it a little bit open, but if you don't buy that driver, that would be like...
Right now, I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to really find the bad ball. I'm really searching for a really horrid ball right now, aren't I?
That's the thing, when you actually look at how low you hit that, the fact that it's only just crept in just above 3,000, and you still got 274, and I mean, that was really bottom of the driver.
This is just something, it just looks great.
Well, the nice thing is also shaping the way you like to see it. That one looked like there was a little bit more hands at the bottom end. Yeah, just before you turn that a tiny bit. But again, like, you can see it's not
disastrous, is it?
No. And the lovely thing is, every one of these has kept enough spin on it to keep that flight up.
Let me just hit one like this and see why.
There you go, 274 carry, 297. I think we found our winner.
Oh no, it's a problem, isn't it? Look, have you seen a man so upset right now? You're in the ball straight, yeah, going quite far. Just that, I think this is what I'm just trying to. Oh well. To me, that felt like it was going to leak right, and it.
302, and you still didn't hit it out of the centre yet. I mean, that's...
Any chance we're going to hit one in there? Out of principle, I've got to hit the Cobra again in a second.
Okay.
I'm trying it in the same way, but I mean, it's quite hard to argue with this, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll take that. That's the one that looks like you got a little bit that way. Oh, yeah, terrible though. Yeah, it's the thing of you hit it out of the bottom, you squeezed it, but you're getting 280 plus still.
I'm still getting 264.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing. You look at that in comparison. So your average there, 265.
I mean, the fact that they even just on the screen, it looks great.
But yeah, you come back to where we were in terms of like early on, sort of the Ventus there, like the Aerojet. You can really nail it.
We're in a different zone, really. Yeah, and we're in a different area.
And it's the thing of like the paradigms, what we've done. That was the sort of, but then we're giving up distance in the carry. Like we're not really, and we're still not as accurate. Not bad with the triple diamond. Like it's okay, but I just think of how many you hit there. For the fact you found middle downwards and just kept that consistency.
It's down. Have you just turned the aircon on and it's downwind this way?
Yeah.
Clever. I like.
Yeah, I quickly switched the altitude up to 10,000 feet just to. But I think it's that forgiveness factor, and like you say, everything on the top. Again, a little bit low on the strike, but everything there is just okay. You can mishit it, it goes there, hit it out in the middle, and you're popping another however many yards on that.
I just want a middle one to see what happens.
Yeah.
It's like
well, you've got pretty close, but yeah, go for it.
I've pulled that, I think that is left. But I'm trying to actually flirt with your data.
Yeah.
Myself. Couple more.
I reckon I could leave you trying for another hour and you're still going
to... What's happened? We can't get rid of him. He's just trying to see if he can... Yeah, there you go. Let's spray one right there.
Yeah.
I'll just see what happens.
Yeah, spray one right and get
and
it to
it's,
draw back.
And it's gone there.
Yeah. Just caught it a little bit low at the bottom, just where your attack angle started to get... What you've got to remember as we start and where you're opening up. So that would be where T height.
Yep.
Of if you're going to start doing that, bringing it up a little bit more. Just going through it, so a slight change in what you're doing, but yeah, no, really, really good.
I like how I'm just aggressively trying to swing on to see what I can do.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You factor in.
I mean that.
Yeah,
That's.
But yeah, you factor in, you put your normal swing on it, you've tried to hit hard, you've actually then done a sort of different swing
one
to do
go
it.
with that.
Yeah.
After all that, one more go, let's see.
But yeah,
But I don't think that's going to perform like that. Like that's.
well, you just get the best of both worlds. You get the distance you're looking for, but the thing's not leaving the fairway. Like you're really having to force it. I mean, even the ones that you felt like, oh, you've really like pulled and got on top of, they've only just dropped outside the 25-yard line. And I mean, unless you're playing the really, really tight courses, it's never going to be a problem.
No, I avoid them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pitch up on the 18th at St Andrews, you'll be fine.
I bet I can hit a road still.
Yeah.
It just sits really nice on the eye. Like actually, weirdly enough, this actually doesn't sit that well with me.
Yeah.
Like I think because obviously I've had the same, but with the loft,
Yeah.
just doesn't look to me. It just doesn't look there.
Oh, I think it was your immediate response of how you liked everything that.
Like to me, I stand over this, and this looks like it's just pointing right to me.
Yeah.
Straight away. That felt high.
Yeah, just a little bit higher off the club. Yeah, just that spin a little bit down, but again, what I'd expect. I'd always expect this to be a slightly lower spin in than the ping.
Yeah.
But yeah, this didn't do bad, by the way, earlier. It's just be interesting to see. Nice. I'd probably go out as far as saying if you went toe to toe, club head to club head, the Aerojet will be a little bit faster off that absolute centered hit. If you want the
You
one,
hate it with the centre of it very often. Not really.
yeah. Well, this is the thing of if you still want that little bit of forgiveness, but still electric ball speed, that ping is just slightly better.
I'm just going
yeah,
off
going
it
after that.
so hard.
But what's great for me is that tells you everything about the shaft and the control it's giving you.
It does feel delightful.
Yeah.
The shaft does.
That was a good, like,
I mean, I've had to. Okay, back to the thing. Let's have a bar of that. One more go.
but yeah, I mean, if you said to me, actually, I want to stick with the Cobra like this instead of going to the ping for whatever reason, I don't know why, but you wouldn't be getting a bad driver there because you've got a shaft that actually helps
What do you
control
think
it.
that will do in that?
In that shaft,
In that head, the all current one.
it should bring the flight down a
Just
little bit.
intrigued.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to
Just
see.
intrigued.
I think you'd almost get similar results to. It'd be a little bit like the paradigm with the weight at the back, the triple diamond. I probably would see it close to that.
I mean, any excuse really, you know, I don't really mind. Yeah. I want an excuse really for a driver.
But yeah, have a couple more hits of this, and then what we'll do is we'll put it in there, and we'll just see.
The final.
Yeah, see what
And
happens.
see how that. Basically, the final I think is how much difference are those two?
Yeah,
Because that one right now looks. We're on a different side of the page up there. That basically is how I look at it when you turn around.
yeah, that's the thing of.
Yeah, instead of being down here,
Yeah,
we're up here. It's great, which is
Yeah,
how I see it.
yeah, that's the thing. You see that there distance, that there is an average of how many shots you hit, and then yeah, you come back to where you were there.
Yep.
So yeah, just where was the? Then we gave you a few more hits when you warmed up a little bit.
Still, it's
But it's still 10 yards or
yeah,
so
yeah.
down, and then the total really is, that's where it shows up. That's
Yeah.
still getting close to 20 yards behind. So, yeah, makes a big difference off that centred hit. Right,
Thank you.
that's all right.
Let's go after a couple, you know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, like, when you get this right smack bang on. That's not going to be a million miles away. A shade's breath down the toe, but straight back into the 300s.
Yeah. It's the disapproval in my face, which is actually.
that's
I'm really trying to lower her. But I mean, still, even that, I'd say, isn't that...
Again, you just look like you got a little bit more under, which is why you just popped it up. The hillside strikes just added maybe 100 or so spin on it, but still 285. It's like you're not going to be disappointed.
I'm aiming left there.
Yeah, that was you pulling across
Yeah,
it. But,
because I wanted to wreck the diagram.
Yeah, but even that, I know it sounds really stupid. You pulling across it, like really getting into it, and that's still only there.
Yeah.
Like. Again,
Yeah, that
a
were,
little bit,
yeah, you
but
could
yeah.
feel that.
You can see you just a touch under, so just get the launch up a little bit higher, which, yeah, it's cost you that extra 10 yards you got off the first one where you were just a bit more on it. But again, are we really going to moan at 292 about 8 yards right of dead centre?
I can't really...
Well, you just like you're swinging, basically you're hitting it in parts of the face because you're trying like to smash it, and it's responding by saying, okay, yeah, I'll just put you down the fairway again. It's almost like it's basically saying to you, come on, try and miss the fairway with me. Oh no, wait, you can't.
I'll try it in that up there, and then just like, but I mean, I feel we can't complain right now, so.
No, I mean, if we're looking at what we'd be sold on, it's the ping.
Yeah.
From that forgiveness factor. But yeah, it would just be interesting to see now what it feels like in your head. But yeah, 100% I think the shaft's giving you the confidence. To me, you look like you were swinging really nicely and well within yourself and got good control from your original.
Yeah.
I mean, just that shaft is giving you the confidence to really hit through it.
As soon as I went back to it and then swung the same way, I didn't get anything like I was getting out of that. Without the shaft, it's just my intrigue to see if it does do anything. And if not, well, decision's made, isn't it, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you. This one feels so different again though, so, well, there you go.
So yeah, immediately what the first thing we see, yeah, a little bit hillside, but it's higher, so it's going to add a little bit of spin, but you can see we're back into, so that's slightly moving.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just give that a time. Should be okay.
Well, I feel, weirdly enough, I now feel at sea with it.
What's that?
Now I feel really, wow, that's gone to the moon, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It feels,
Yeah, just go under it. There, just that. You can almost ignore that one. Yeah, that's you hitting more through it. But yeah,
still, it's not.
that's the problem. That low strike there with the ping, not that far off. You were like around the 2.4, 2.5. There, it's just costing you that sort of, well, yeah, upwards 15, 20 yards.
Last one, then I can be.
But yeah, interesting. You're almost trying to slow down now to get the control.
Yeah.
Like try and put it back in. There you went 106 and you can see it just deflects up.
There's
So,
massive difference.
Yeah, so to me it's a case of, yeah, that ping's the way we go with that.
Yeah.
Really happy, like lengthwise, swing weight wise, going a bit heavier, but you've got the speed to manage that.
Yep.
If you're going too light, you're just going to lose that control. And that's why you've had to sort of swing within yourself for yours. Last thing really is like the sort of grip.
Yep.
So is the +4 something you've enjoyed, or is it just
Just look
put it
nice,
on.
doesn't it? You know.
Yeah. All right. If you want to come. Yeah. So that's what we've been using today.
Yep.
Which has generally been a Tour Velvet 360. Pretty traditional, still one of the most popular, and that's obviously what you're used to.
Yep.
So have a grip of the Tour Velvet 360 first with your hand. So what we're looking at in terms of how does it feel in the thickness of your top hand, the first point of contact, how that feels. Now cording on a grip is always going to add a little bit of thickness there, so that will feel possibly slightly a little bit more in the top hand. Won't be much, but it'll be just that tiny gain.
I think I just quite like it.
Yeah. Now to give you a different feel of that sort of grip, this is a Olympian Sona, so I almost describe this as like the car tyre of grip, sort of you can almost feel the tread on it.
Yeah.
So I suppose one of those things of, do you like to feel that it's really secure in your hand, or are you more,
I think I like the old
sort of plus four?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick with that, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
It just feels quite nice, you know.
Just out of a thickness point, just to have a look at where your left hand. So this is a standard grip, but with 4 layers of tape. So how does that feel in your top hand? Because it looks like you've got that over. So you could almost play that this one's got like 2 layers or so because of that cording.
It does feel quite chunky. I think.
Yeah. Does that feel a little bit uncomfortable? Yeah. Okay. So I reckon if they're looking at that, if you take that grip for me again with that one, feel more comfortable in the top?
Just feels comfy.
Okay. So yeah, I think for where you hold it and what you do, we stick standard with
Perfect.
That. They do it in other colours.
Just some jazzy colour maybe. The baby blue and the baby blue.
Yeah, baby blue?
Yes, please.
No worries. Cool. Any questions from that?
No. Very good.
Happy?
Yeah. Happy? Yeah, really happy. Yeah. I sound unhappy, but I'm really happy deep down.
Yeah. No, you've done really well, and I feel like that's the thing is we've not taken away what you've built on, that consistency, but added you another 15, 20 yards in there, so that's always nice to see from a fit as well.